Okay, so the biggest two factors that are affecting your credit score that you might not be aware of. Yes, did you guess? Could you? Possibly, maybe, I don't know. Credit utilization and payment history. Those are the two biggest factors that are gonna ruin, help, destroy, or make your life harder, which really means make your life harder is harder to qualify for a car loan, a credit card, a mortgage, also harder to get better rates. So between those two, it's 65% of your credit. And there's so many people after 20 years, have all these credit cards, student loans, credit cards, installment loans, mortgages. And if you just miss one payment recently, you can literally go from an 800 score to a 700, from a 740 to a 660, from a 700 to literally like a 600, from a 660 to in the 580s. And you can ruin your chances at qualifying for a home. Secondly, ruin your chances from even qualifying for a certain program. But worst, you're going to get shitty rates with credit cards, car payments, business lines of credit, and mortgages. So today I am going to talk about on the brief how we look at credit, what's the difference from when you pull it, when we pull it. You know, we're just going to dive into credit because I think it's important, because I don't really think people are understanding that credit really does matter. And especially as if it gets hard getting more lending, if it gets hard getting loans, if we have a recession and it's even they squeeze the belt tighter, which they could, they're going to look at this stuff more and more. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode. It's The Brief with your one and only Kenny Simpson. And as you can see, I did it. I've changed my background for you guys. I actually started coming in recording on the weekends. So today I'm recording, it's Super Bowl Sunday while you guys are getting ready for the parties, probably in Vegas, super hungover, maybe still up in Vegas, but Chiefs, which is like everybody's saying Chiefs, aka Taylor Swift's team, just kind of laughing, or the 49ers, which is right up north from us here in good old California, San Francisco. Anyways, welcome back, guys. Today I want to jump into it. Let's not waste time. What do we always talk about first? Something that is not growing, but my hair is growing. Yes, it is. Thank goodness. We are talking about inventory, and we're just starting to get into February, and then we have March, and then we have April, and that's spring and summer, and we should be getting more inventory. But folks, you're just not seeing the tick up in inventory. But what are we going to do? So let's get into it. Last week, nationally, 497,000 active listings. This week, 494. We are getting worse, folks. I mean, we started off the year, let me go back here in my cheat notes, like 513,000. So we're losing nationally. How are we doing locally? Last week, we were at 2696. This week, we're at 2580. We are down 4%. New listings, we're down 16%, 352. Sold, 307, down 2. We're down. Not good, guys. I thought we were going to go up. These rates, I keep trying to tell you, Mr. Powell, you got to get the rates down, dude, a little bit so we can get more inventory. Nobody wants to get rid of. Yeah, people have rates in the 1s and the 2s and the 3s and the 4s. You know that 75% of people around us that have a home, 75 have 4% or less. 90% have 5% or less. The current rate is not even 5%. It's 6s. This is not motivating. It's not helping people out. So we need, the rates actually are ticking back up. 10-year treasuries going up. We've got these bullshit jobs reports. We've got the feds talking out of there. You know what? And basically, guys, this is what happens is we're getting all this, like, feds are just, they just won't land the plane. They just won't do it because we need the cut to get more rate relief. So I think when we get the cut, even if it's 25 rinky-dink basis points, that will help interest rates moving forward. Rates. They're pretty flat week over week. We were at 8%. Then we came down to 6.5%. And now we're trending up into the higher 6s, depending on your scenario, your credit, full doc, bank statements, primary, second home, owner, all that good stuff. But rates are definitely better, but they're not as good as we want them to be. And they're not as good as they need to be. So we are having housing recession year 3 in 2024. And these numbers are not helping because the Fed just won't land the plane. Guys, just land it. Just give us the cut. It's not going to change anything. It will change with you. It will change a lot of stuff with our industry because we in the real estate industry, and if you're watching it, yes, we've been suffering and we've been getting our asses kicked. And we're honestly ready for a fresh breath of air. We have to work really, really hard these days to make it happen for our clients. It's not easy, but it's okay. We're here to do that. Anyways, let's go into some fun stuff about first-time home buyers, about credit, and then we got all types of fun topics to go through. A little bit of drama is always fun on the show, right? Because we can't just sit here and be like, let's just talk about boring first-time home buyer stuff or rates or inventory. We got to have some excitement. We got to see what's going on out there in the real estate world, the economy, the market that's affecting things. We already know the Fed. They're going to probably cut May, June. They have to. They set it on 60 minutes. So we have to wait and see. So we're not going to keep talking about something that just isn't happening. But what I want to talk about is 4 habits of a successful home buyer. We've got mindset, play house, down payment, and credit score. So let's go back. Mindset. Guys, if you're buying a primary, if you're buying a second home, if you're buying an investment property, and real estate investors, you know that. You guys that have built a portfolio or done your first deal or done your first flip or done your first hack, whatever it is, and I've been a part of that by just the financing or talking to you, walking you through it, you shifted your mindset because you bought your primary home and then you bought an investment home. That's 2 different. But if you're renting now and you want to buy your first home, as one of my mentors always said, just get in the game, Kenny. Quit talking about it. Just buy. Get in the game. Because once you get in the game of owning a home or buying an investment property, everything changes, folks. Because you know why? If you talk about running a marathon and you actually ran a marathon, guess what? You actually can talk about running a marathon. Man, I started off and I was doing good. And then by mile 5, I was like, holy shit, I'm not going to make it. And then by mile 10, I got like, woo, I'm pumping and going. And then I saw my grandma on the side, my mom on the side, my kids on the side. And I got this water and that drink. And by mile 17, I thought my legs were going to fall off. And then somehow I made it. And then I want to die. That's actually running a marathon. That's actually going through it. So if you're going to buy a home, we got to get your mindset right? That means get focused. If the goal is to buy a home, you know what you got to do, right? You got to get pre-approved. You got to make sure your credit's good. You got to make sure you have a job. You got to make sure you got the down payment, right? You got to understand what it's like to buy a home. Like get used to it. So mindset is the first thing in buying a home. The second thing is play house. You know the song, Let's Play House. Just kidding. But what I mean by play house is just like a kid plays house, right? Like you get your mindset, play house. So let's say you're going to go buy $800,000 home. Let's say you're going to put 20% down and I'm going to pick a payment out of my, thin air. Let's say the payment is $4,000 and you're paying rent of $2,500. But you and your wife, you make $250,000 combined with both of you. So you're okay with that. You save the money. You've got good credit. Your cars are paid off. Your credit cards are paid down. You got no student debt. You're in a good position. But play house means what is it like making that $4,000 payment? So get that out of your account. So actually take instead of the 25, take the extra money and put it into another account like it's gone. Like, ooh, that's out of our account every month. Okay. Then go, okay, how much is it for water, electric, gas? All that stuff, right? How much is that? What about putting money aside? Are you going to use your credit card? Are you going to put a little bit of money aside every month? Are you okay financially responsible to go, if some shit breaks in the house, something happens, you have the money. Play house is play it out, folks. Act like you're living it. Act like you're doing it. So when you run the marathon, you don't wake up, right? And just go run a marathon. You start with a mile, then you're at 5, then you're at 10, then you might run a marathon. Then you run a whole marathon before the race. You don't just show up. So practice running that marathon. Practice playing house because that will really help you. I'm telling you, you've got to get in that mindset. Number 3 is down payment. Do you have the down payment? Is it coming from stocks? Is it coming from 401k? Is it coming from your employer? Is it coming from a deal you're going to close? Is it coming from mom, dad, grandpa, uncle, whatever, right? Is it lined up? That means if you're pre-approved, are you ready to go? Are you basically like, I can wire that money in 3 days after I get in contract? I can do it right now. Your mom, your uncle, your grandma, your job, 401k, it's ready to go. Well, sometimes pulling a stock and selling that and getting the money takes a week. Sometimes a 401k could take 2 weeks. Sometimes your grandma and grandpa, you don't realize they got to get money out of this account. They got to move over here and put it over there. And like, oh shit, it's 5 days. I thought it was like 2 days, 1 day. So know where the money's coming from and how fast. The fourth thing that's super important is your credit score. And I'm going to talk about that today. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter if you make $20,000 a year, you make $2 million a year, okay? People screw up their credit all the time. I deal with it all the time. Whoopsie daisies, I missed the payment. Whoopsie daisies, I sent in the wrong payment. Whoopsie daisies, I forgot that Macy's credit card, I did charge 20 bucks. I totally never saw that in the mail. I thought I never did it. And I got a late on the stupid new car that I just signed up for. So, oh, my wife had a great idea. Let's go into Macy's and sign up for a new car and save 15% and charge it and then forget about the whole thing. And you got the thing in the mail and you just, I don't know anything on that. Next thing you know, the $200 just ruined your credit by 100. So if you're going to do stuff, you got to be responsible. So let's go over those again. So mindset, a house, down payment, and credit score. Those are the huge factors to being proactive about buying a home and getting the mindset right. Those are the 4 habits as a successful home buyer that if you're watching this, you know somebody's gonna buy, send the video to them. Seriously, send this video. Guys, this is somebody coming from 20 years. I actually go on the internet, just so you guys know, I'm not a lazy ass. I go on the internet. I actually watch videos. I look at comments. I read articles. I figure out what are the pain points of you buyers? What are you dealing with? I see it every day, but I also want to know from you guys, what are you dealing with? I know what people do when they're buying a home or an investment property. I've been through it thousands of times with you, but I want to know if there's other things. So these were the most common pain points. So here's 5 things that you first-time home buyers can do to repair your credit, clean up your credit, and get ready to buy that home. So here we go. I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to go real quick. So pay attention. Number 1, if you have no credit, like, hey, Kenny, I don't even have a credit card, nothing. Where do I start? Great question. Number 1, immediately do a couple things. Get a prepaid card. Number 1, beg your mom and dad or your sister or somebody to be an authorized user on the card. Here's the thing. They'll get a credit card in the mail. It's going to come to you maybe, and then you give it to them and you don't use it. You just get their credit history, but make sure whoever you go on, that person pays their card on time and doesn't rack up their card because it actually can ruin your credit. So what you're going to do is inherit all their credit history. The prepaid card, there's Visa, all these MasterCard, all that. They have prepaid cards. You prepay $500. It's secured. It goes on your credit. And it's like, boom, you don't have to worry about missing payments. And it shows that credit and you use it and it helps you grow credit. So number 3, these days you can add your rent. You can add your utilities. You can add like your cell phone bill. You can add these bills. You got to talk to your renter. There's companies out there where you can add these onto your credit. Make sure you pay the bill on time to show that you're paying. Remember, it's great to have years of history. So if you're young, you're watching this. If you're a parent watching this, send this to your kid. Get them set up now. I don't care if they're 18, 19, 20. Get them an authorized card. Start showing their cell phone on their payment, even if you're making it. Get the credit history rolling, folks, so we can see that coming. Because if they want to buy a house younger and you're a parent and you have the money to help them, what are you waiting for? Get their credit going. Number 4, what you can do, if you have credit cards, let's say you have a credit card and your credit's not bad, right? Or your credit's like okay because you keep maxing out your credit card because it's only a $1,500 balance. Call that credit card company, say, hey, can I bump the limit up? That doesn't mean you go to Vegas or a shopping spree, right? That means you go from $1,500 to $5,000 or $10,000. You just keep spending spending the same, but now your credit utilization is at 90, 80%. If you rack up $1,500 a month, you're at 5, you're way less. If you're at 10, you're at 15%, 30%. Huge help to your credit score. And 5, last but not least, go pull your credit. Have a professional look at it. Look, if you are going to buy a home soon, that's where you go get pre-approved. Even if you don't have credit, start a conversation with a lender or mortgage broker like me, right? They will look at your credit, dispute anything that's on there, make sure everything's on there is correct, clean up the credit. If you need a credit repair person, that's where you hire them. That's why, folks, people pull their credit right before they go and buy a home, and they get an escrow and there's a disaster and we got to emergency 911 and clean it up. It's a real nightmare, and that's the stuff we don't want to do. So we really want to clean this stuff up and basically make sure it's all good. It's all worthwhile, right? Anyways, recent article by Housing Wire. California's high costs aren't deterring Gen Z from moving there. Zillow. So obviously, because as California lost nearly 215,000 residents to net migration in 2022, the Golden State saw almost 44,000 Gen Z adults born between 1996 and 2004, excluding students who moved there. Why? Because there's job opportunities. They're in tech, they're in biotech, whatever. There's a lot of opportunities here in California, guys, to make money, right? And so with that being said, 77% of Gen Zers who move to these states are renters. And then Gen Zers remain a small slice of the home buying market, 4% in 2023 and 3% in 2022. What I can tell you is, yes, there's states like California, Washington, Oregon, New York, Florida, whatever. Gen Zers are moving there. A lot of these Gen Zers too have parents have money. So they're moving here. I do loans for them. They come here, they work, they rent for a couple of years. They get a good job and they go to Bank of Moab, mom and dad, and they say, hey, mom, hook me up. And they bring in a down payment and then they go live. They house hack their way. They buy a condo, buy a house, get roommates, all that stuff. But parents, these kids that are coming here that are showing success, they're doing well. Their parents will help them out. Why not? And put the money down, get them into a place. So Gen Zers aren't afraid of high cost living because they know, like a place like San Diego or California or whatever, there's also a shit ton of opportunity, guys, here to make money. Yep, if you're willing to hustle and focus. And finally, thank you, because this is great news. Our good old buddies at Housing Wire with another article. The House introduces abusive trigger leads ban bill. What that means, folks, is when we pull the hard pull, the bureaus sell all your information. And yes, to these, what do we want to call them? I'm trying to be nice here. They sell all of your information to call centers that are going to call the shit out of you and annoy you. And I get calls going, Kenny, I got 50 calls in the last 2 days. And some of you guys just ignore it. But guys, there's people I deal with that are in sales that have to pick up every call. If they miss a call, that could have been a sale or a customer. So it's ridiculous. So this would ban from selling your information. Guys, we don't need, trigger lead companies. We don't need you calling our clients, because you know what you do? You bash us. You tell us we're terrible. You're better and all this. That is their tactic, folks, is to bash the guy that's been doing this 20 years, that's making this video and telling you that they're bad, not us. How fucking funny is that? Excuse my French. Cut that out. Whatever. How funny is that? How ridiculous is this that we have to have a bill and pass this? It's taking this long. But I'm happy because I hate when my clients get bombarded. And the people that are calling, let me tell you, the people that get trigger leads are not mortgage professionals. They have not been doing this a while. They don't have a robust business. You know what they do? They're brand new people. They're people that don't even do loans a lot of times. They just hammer the phones and call and bug the shit out of you. And then they just want to bash the person you're working with because they got to seem better. And that's not a good solution. What's a good solution is we just provide you with all the facts. If you want to shop, you can do it yourselves, but we provide you with the best rates, terms, and all that. That's why we're a mortgage broker. But anyways, I'm excited about this bill and I hope it passes. And last but not least, let's hear what our good old buddy, Ryan, Mr. Serhant at the Serhant Group has to say with the real estate market. All right, Ryan, what you got?
Busiest starts of a year to my entire career. I mean, new listings nationally are up just under 7% year over year. Doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to 2023, feels great. Prices are up about 5%, right? Rates are still keeping inventory down, but sellers are feeling less locked in than they have over the past 24 months, even though 90% of all home loans in the United States are at or roughly under 5%. People feel a bit unlocked. That's my word of the year so far, is unlocked. This year is going to be unlocked, and it's so far moving pretty quickly.
Now, let's be clear. Patrick Mahomes is having a pretty good year in football. He's going to play on Sunday with Brock Purdy. You're the sort of the Mahomes of real estate. You're at the top. You're at the top. And so I wonder, can Ryan Serhant's experience in 2024 be sort of explanatory for the rest of the country, right? I mean, for the broker in Ohio, what message would you send to him or her? Because they've probably had a pretty rough run the last couple of years.
I'm not so sure about that. I think inventory is low, sure.
Nothing to sell.
I think but a deal volume is lower. But I mean, in Ohio, where I hope to open a Serhant soon,
nice.
That deal time on market is still incredibly fast. I mean, nationally, most homes are still sitting on the market for less than 2 weeks. I mean, that's very, very fast. Yes, there's a lot of luxury movement in the luxury markets we're in. I'm talking to you right now from our headquarters in Soho, and the average time on market is still just under 6 months, and the prices are higher, right? The luxury market's been moving really, really quickly. There's been multiple, 8, 9 figure deals between here and our South Florida markets, but the national housing market, I think, is starting to really come back to life. I think as rates slowly start to stabilize or tick down, according to the Fed announcement, I think we'll see a lot more life. People have to move on. You can't sit there and complain all day long. And if we look at history, markets go down, markets go right back up.
If interest rates go down, and they might, because to your point, the Fed has sort of forecasted it may target, cut a couple times this year. Will prices also go down nationally with it?
No, they'll do the opposite. Prices will go up. I'm seeing it from, we're Serhant's in 8 states right now. We just expanded into Georgia.
Did you guys just hear that? If rates go down, will prices go down? No, they will go up.
Last week, and we started to move west. And from all of the sellers we're speaking to, they see price increasing as rates stabilize and decrease. They say, this is what we've been waiting for. I thought I was going to sell my home for less money last year, but now I can wait. And so what we say to all buyers is, you can wait for lower rates too, but so is the seller. And you have to understand the math, right? You don't live in the purchase price. You live in the monthly payments. The headline rate right now is just under 7%. And so people will say, well, I'm going to wait till it gets to 6.5%. For every $100,000 borrowed, that 0.5% swing is $33 a month. And so you have people making life decisions over $33 a month for every $100,000 borrowed. People need to look at the entire picture. What is the outcome you're trying to get to? What is that total monthly payment that you're going to live in? There are still great options out there. And I think it's an exciting time. 2024 is turning out to be what I think might be one of the most robust real estate markets that I've ever seen.
And guys, so thanks Ryan for that. Always positive to hear from him. He has a big, obviously, outlook because he gets across many states. He obviously coaches and trains realtors and people in our industry all over the world. And so he hears from everybody. He gets a lot of data, a lot of information. You're hearing it. What did he say again? You're starting off better than last year. There is more inventory. I know it still sucks, but there is more. The third thing he said was really important to listen to is that time on the market. Most homes are just selling within 2 weeks, which is insane. That means that's the buyer demand meeting and we still have low inventory. The other thing he said also is that when rates go down, the prices will go up. Last but not least, he talked about it. Sellers know that if they wait for rates to go down, they're going to make more money. Buyers, guys, did you hear that? Sellers know that when the rates go down, they're going to be able to sell their home for more. If you're not picking that up, buyers, that's what they know because they're watching it. So buyers, when the rates go down, I know you're like, there's going to be more inventory, but that does not mean the price of the home is going to be less. It should be more. But anyways, guys, that is it for the brief. That's in this week. I think I exhausted the time. Hope you guys learned something about credit. Hope it entertained you. But also, most importantly, we got through another week. Watch the data. Let's just hope and pray those Feds cut rates soon. We need lower rates because we need more inventory. But remember, if you're a buyer sitting on the sideline and waiting for the lower rates and the more inventory, you're going to feel some pain. But anyways, until next week, guys, always appreciate it. Love and respect. And thanks for watching. Until next week. Have a good week.